So step one, I think, is speaking to an expert to understand what you can potentially borrow. It gives you a great idea of the property price you can afford, and they can also advise around any obstacles early in the process, so you can factor these in, such as either maybe needing to save a bit more for a deposit, or there could be a pay rise coming in the future that we want to take into account. So number one step is speaking to an expert to understand what you can afford. And once you've done that, step two is then to arrange an agreement in principle with the lender. It's the first step on your mortgage application journey, and at that stage the lender will take the information that you provide them, they'll complete a credit check and confirm if they're potentially willing to lend and how much. For the majority of lenders, it's a soft credit search and has no negative impact on your credit history in applying. And the agreement principle, it doesn't tie you to that lender, nor does it confirm the lender will definitely apply to you, but it does give you the confidence early in the process that you can proceed and continue with your house journey. Once you know your budget and you know you can achieve a mortgage, you're ready to start looking for a property. To me, it's crucial you do step 1 and 2 first, as without going through this process, you don't know if you're looking at the right value properties or if a mortgage is even a possibility at this stage. You don't want to become emotionally invested in a property, only to find out it's beyond your reach. But once we do know a mortgage is possible, I'd recommend that you view lots of properties and really get a feel for what is important for you in your new home. When you think you found the right property, go back and visit the area at different times and days. As well as what's inside the property, it's important to consider what's around the property, things like parking, how safe does the area feel, what's it like on an evening, on a weekend, how busy does it get? The list goes on, but it's going to be your home for at least the next few years, so it's really important that you make a decision that's right for you and your family. Whilst you're looking at properties, I'd also recommend reaching out to some solicitors to get quotes for the conveyancing work required to buy the property. Although you aren't going to instruct them just yet, knowing the cost and who you plan to use can be useful later in the process. And to find a solicitor, you may have recommendations from friends who've recently purchased. Your mortgage advisor may know some good firms that they've worked with in the past. The estate agent will also likely have good local contacts. And of course, you can always check people out online for any reviews. When you find and fall in love with a property, it's time to make an offer. But before you do, there's some crucial steps to ensure that your offer is seen in the best light and gives you the best chance of securing the property at the best price. Usually, when someone is selling a property, the vendor and the estate agent want things to go as smoothly and quickly as possible. And as a first-time buyer, you're in a great position to appeal to these requirements. As you're not part of a chain, so you're not relying on having to sell to buy, we can go a step further by showing how prepared and organised you are and set you apart from any offers that might be on the table. Before you submit your offer, make sure you've got an up-to-date agreement in principle. You've got proof of your deposit available to show the agent. You've got details of the people helping organise your finance and details of the solicitor firm you're planning on using. Showing that you're prepared, serious, organised and want to move quickly can make all the difference when comparing with any competing offers. When deciding on whether to offer asking price or maybe trying to get a reduction, you need to consider the price compared with other similar properties in the local area and the vendor's circumstances. Are they in a rush and looking to cut a deal, or maybe the vendor's not even started looking and they're hanging out for the best possible price? Feedback from the agent can also help you gauge what offer you want to make, although do remember they are working for the vendor trying to secure the best price usually. And also, with the property unique, is it going to come back onto the market something similar, or is this a one-off that you want to make sure you secure and don't want to get into negotiations? Once you have negotiated and agreed the purchase price, it's time to start the mortgage application. The agreement in principle may have been some months ago and the mortgage market may have changed, so we'd always recommend researching your options again to ensure you take advantage of the best deal available for you at the time. And now that we're submitting the full mortgage application, the lender will now do an underwriting assessment of the application on top of completing a credit search. They'll want to see various documents to evidence your identity, your income and your expenditure, so things like pay slips, the last few months, bank statements, proof of identity will be important to them. As well as assessing you as a client, the lender will also assess the property to ensure that it's suitable security for them to lend against. Every lender has slightly different risk appetite for which properties they're willing to lend on, and if there's something unusual about your property, it's crucial that you get some expert advice on which lender is best for you. Even something as straightforward as a property being a high-rise block of flats or having an annex in the garden, it can potentially rule lenders out, so getting it right first time can save lots of heartache and stress. The process from applying for the mortgage and receiving the offer usually takes around 2 weeks, although it can be quicker and it can also be longer depending on your circumstances and the lender involved. As well as applying for the mortgage, you may also want to engage with the solicitor now that your offer has been accepted. The solicitor will contact the seller's solicitor to request the draft contracts, and review these. They'll raise inquiries with the seller on your behalf, as well as conducting local authority searches, flood risks, and checking the legal title of the property. If the vendor's not in a rush, you may want to delay the solicitor starting any chargeable work until you've got your mortgage offer through from the mortgage lender, although obviously doing this will delay you getting the keys for the property and moving in. Once you've got your offer through from the mortgage lender, we'd highly recommend arranging a property survey for yourself. Although the lender completes a valuation of the property, typically this will be a very basic valuation, and sometimes this may be done online without even visiting the property. This is one of the biggest purchases in your life, so it's vital you know any potential issues that could come up during the coming years and that you need to be aware of. We also find that professional property survey can be a great tool to renegotiate the price if it does throw up any unexpected costs that you need to consider. Hopefully the survey is all okay and the legal work all goes smoothly. However, across the industry, 1 in 3 property purchases end up not completing. If there are any issues that do come up, it's crucial that you have someone in the process that you can turn to and talk through what's happened and what your options are. In our experience, this tends to be the mortgage advisor as the person people turn to that they feel they can trust for impartial advice when they need it most. The legal work can take some time to complete, and it's not uncommon for it to take between 4 to 6 months for a purchase to actually get to completion. Typically, most mortgage lenders know that, and the case will be offered and it will be valid for 6 months, the mortgage offer that you get through. As you get towards completion, your solicitor will start to discuss completion dates with yourselves and the sellers, and you can start to now book a removal firm and plan for the big move. Once all the legal work is finalised, a date for completion has been confirmed, you'll exchange contracts on the purchase, and at that point you're then legally obliged to buy the property, and everything will be set for a completion date when you finally get your keys.